So a couple of days ago, I ended up getting a comment on one of my old videos from 3 years ago, and it was on the video of me talking about the situation that was going on at the time with Merc Music and his public relationship. At the time, I didn't really know what I was doing. This was still me kind of getting into the swing of things, into making videos, and looking back at it, it's really bad, it's really lazy, and I wish I did a better job in being coherent with my thoughts and opinions about stuff. But now we're here today, and now we're basically making a follow-up video 3 years later. Some of the information that I have now, compared as to what I did before, is honestly kind of damning in terms of Merc Music's character. So TLDR, the situation of how it happened. Basically, a couple of years ago, Eric, aka Merc Music, ended up getting added on Snapchat from a girl that he didn't really know, and they spoke for a couple of months, and within like 2 weeks, as it seems from the information that's been provided through some of his videos that he's uploaded onto his own personal YouTube channel, they talked for each other for a couple of weeks. Then they ended up having a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, and in 2 months into the relationship, after the new year, they ended up deciding to go ahead and meet up with one another. And the first day that they ended up seeing each other for the first time ever, after him traveling across the country from Florida to Washington, he ended up proposing to her. And this pretty much struck the controversy with how people thought he was handling his relationship, and overall how he was making it public to not only just the internet over in general, but to his own subscriber slash fan base. And as someone who had been watching Merc Music's content for a little while, and actually had been enjoying a lot of his content, after he made the video initially talking about his girlfriend at the time, and then sooner or later his fiance, and then now who's currently his wife, I thought it was a little weird. I thought it was a little weird how he just suddenly came out of nowhere, made the video, and in like the same day as he uploaded the video talking about her, he then posted a tweet saying that he was engaged with her and they were going to spend the rest of their life with one another. And it pretty much like a week after, he then ends up making another video where he then claims that she ended up moving in with him. And the reason why this is really weird, and this is such a huge situation at the time why people were talking about it, was because it wasn't really how you're supposed to handle relationships. Relationships are supposed to be built up, and they're supposed to start small in order to be able to be something much bigger than what he ended up making it to be. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to start slow and small. You know, you can start off as friends, maybe you can start off as dating a little bit, but you're not boyfriend and girlfriend. And then you end up going into a relationship with one another, and time is supposed to pass before you actually decide whether or not you really truly want to spend the rest of your life with one another. As in the first video he ended up making, he pretty much said surface level shit that pretty much anybody could say to any other person, and he was saying that like, oh, they have so much in common and they're so compatible with one another, and it just came off as ridiculous and childish and honestly high school love drama bullshit. Honestly, it was really cringy, especially with some of the stuff they ended up saying within the video.
It's just amazing. Like, we're so compatible on a broad level for things like we both like to play video games and we both like music. But growing up, I mostly played Call of Duty, whereas she played Halo. And obviously I play guitar and she plays violin and piano, which is just, that's fucking awesome. Even when we were first talking, we were sending YouTube videos back and forth to each other with different like music, different memes and stuff. It's just so great. And if you're curious to see her, there's a picture. I'll see how many I can put up. I don't know exactly how many, but I personally find my girlfriend to be very cute and sexy.
I personally find my girlfriend to be very cute and sexy.
That was truly cringeworthy.
It was really uncomfortable. It was really uncomfortable hearing him say this type of stuff, just because that's not really stuff that you want someone to say about their own relationship with their own girlfriend, with their own boyfriend. You don't want to hear people say this type of shit, because even if you're thinking that it's true to yourself, no one else wants to hear that, because it just comes off as very self-centered, and it's not even towards yourself, it's actually just towards someone that you feel a sudden admiration for. And so time progressed forward after that point, and he got engaged with her, and immediately the people in the comments were either doing one of two things. Either A, you were going into his comments and being extremely disrespectful to not only he himself, but also his fiance, or B, you were actually giving constructive criticism and your own opinions of how you thought the content was being made at the time, or you were saying that he was rushing things in his relationship and thought that maybe he should slow down a little bit and wait a little bit before he actually decides to spend the rest of his life with her. And a couple of things happened after that. If you were giving criticism about how he was handling his relationship, or how you thought he should handle it, just off of first impressions of how he was making it forward with, you know, tweets online and stuff like that, you either just got ignored, you got censored completely, and you were not allowed to have anyone else respond to your own criticism, or you were blocked. Yeah, he did a lot of blocking of people, not only him, but also his fiance, of course, and it just kind of showed that he really couldn't handle criticism as best as he said that he did in one of his other videos.
Again, I've been doing YouTube for 9 years now. I have a pretty thick skin to, rude comments like that. I've obviously had a lot of shitty comments thrown my way, and I can take it because I've been doing this for 9 years.
He says that he's used to taking criticism, but clearly by the amount of people that he blocks, not only then, but also recently, as of just the end of last year in like September, which we'll get into a little bit as we progress forward into the video. He just wasn't really handling criticism. Either him nor his girlfriend, fiance, whatever the fuck, they just weren't handling this in the best situation possible. They were acting like children. They were acting very immature. And it was just embarrassing to see not only him say the stuff that he was saying about her, acting like a fucking teenager in their first relationship in high school, but just the way that he was acting against other people online. And you can see some of the tweets that he has in exchange with another content creator called 8 Thoughts. He just acts very immature, egotistical. Clearly someone was attacking his ego. I guess it was being 8 Thoughts, and it just came off as him just trying to brag about his own subscriber base and him being hypocritical and saying that, oh, his subscribers aren't a number, they're actual people. But then he talks about how his channel was 20 times the size of 8 Thoughts' channel, which, it's kind of contradictory if I do say so myself. It's just a little weird to see. It was a dumb situation that ended up happening, and he just wasn't taking the criticism very well. And if he couldn't take the criticism very well, then he just shouldn't have reacted like the way that he was doing. He should have not blocked as many people as he was doing so. He shouldn't have tried to censor as many people as he was doing so. If you go to his YouTube channel nowadays, if you type in words probably like 8 Thoughts, and we'll mention a couple other people later on, but I'm gonna go ahead and say their names right now, like Mike, Omar, and Andrew, you're probably gonna have your comment completely blocked from his comment section, and no one's gonna be able to see it. You can go ahead and test this yourself on some of his most recent videos. I actually went ahead and did this a couple days ago. I ended up mentioning both Omar and Mike in a comment saying where are they in the videos, and I went ahead and searched by new, and the comment was completely gone. So either for some reason my comment was held for review, or he completely blocked any specific words revolving around Mike and Omar, or maybe even 8 Thoughts. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case as well. Completely hidden from the comments, and you are no longer able to see any of those types of comments at all in his comment section. It's a form of censorship. It's a form of hiding away information that he doesn't want certain people to see, certain people from his subscriber base to see. And it's really irritating that that's the case, that he's trying to go ahead and hide this type of information from them, because it comes off as disingenuous. It comes off as him just trying to save face and trying to act like this never happened in the first place. But it keeps getting brought back over and over again, and ultimately ended up getting into a situation where some of his old former friends, like I was mentioning just before, Mike, Andrew, and Omar, they slowly were getting pushed out of his friend group. And it ultimately got to a point where mainly Andrew and Mike, they ended up making a series of tweets talking about how they had noticed one day that they were slowly getting pushed out from their friend group, and they were getting blocked, they were getting unblocked, and they just wouldn't talk to them anymore. Andrew specifically was speaking his fucking heart out in a series of tweets and replying to Mike's tweets, and it came off as very emotional, and clearly he was very heavily affected by this emotionally. And it really seemed like, from the tweets that I'm actually showing on screen at the moment, that he clearly gave a shit about Eric, that he was a dear friend to him, to Andrew. And what ended up happening, this whole backlash ended up happening, and even after them saying that they were trying to also defend their relationship back when they were getting the most amount of hate a couple years ago, they ended up getting shoved out, and they just basically get ignored now, to the point where they now have to make a series of tweets online, making this even more public than there already was, just to get their attention. And clearly this was effective, because I can't see the tweets, and I don't even know if they're like still on her Twitter or not. But even if they were, I can't see them because I have to either sign into another Twitter account or log out because she has me blocked on her account. But Karina, Sodapopcandy, she made a series of subtweets about the situation that had happened just a couple of months ago, towards the end of 2020, and she just talks about the situation at hand and her side of the things, but it just came off as a very immature way of handling things. And even though it was already public, what she should have done instead was talk to these people in private and actually have a discussion with them and try to clear up any misconceptions that might actually be ended up having from the situation that was happening. But instead of doing that, she ends up deciding to just act like a fucking child, and it wasn't a cool way to do it. And I feel like there could have been better ways in order to be able to handle this, but they didn't do that. They instead just tried to talk about it very briefly, but not mention anyone's names, because God forbid you mention anyone's fucking names, and just pretend like it never happened. Just completely forget like it even happened in the first place and just move on forward. It's a situation that just keeps getting muddled up even more so, and then you go and you realize that some of the old videos with Mike and Omar, and probably Andrew as well, and maybe a couple of others, they ended up getting deleted. And there's a video online where you can go ahead and see that these videos were previously up on Eric's channel, but they had been since deleted, which just shows even more so that he's trying to push these people away from his brand and his channel altogether, and just make it seem like that they were never a part of his association or with his wife at all. And I think that's really messed up, to go ahead and just decide to go ahead and be a really shitty friend to people that you knew for seemingly like 6, 7, 8 years. Andrew was even saying that he knew him for like 7+ years. How are you gonna go ahead and just treat your friends like that? I even mentioned in my original video that I made 3 years ago, what are you gonna do whenever your friends start talking about how you're handling your situation with your relationship? Are you gonna go ahead and block them? And even though they were actually defending him and being on his side, he ended up blocking them anyways. So kind of an ironic twist of fate, especially since I mentioned that in the original video. But it's just a messed up situation, and I feel like Eric over at the channel M3RKMUS1C and Karina, aka Sodapopcandy, could have handled the situation a lot better than they did. But instead of doing that, they ended up trying to hide as much information as they can, and instead of just doing the right thing and just talking to people about what was going on and trying to make it clear and ease Karina into the videos and trying to make it clear that she's not going to be in every video, but every now and again she is going to be in some amount of videos, instead of just trying to take it slow with not only her introduction to videos, but also to her in your life as you're now spending the rest of your life with one another. You're just supposed to take it slow. I mean, it's been 3 years, so you're probably a lot more, compatible with one another than you were before. But to go straight in with it as he did was just not the right move, in my opinion. I feel like you could have handled it so much better than what you did. But at the end of the day, I can't really say much, as it's not my relationship. It's not my place to really say how you should handle things. I'm just saying that these were my thoughts and my opinions then. That's what they are now. I can't control it. It's not my relationship. I don't really have much say in it, but I am allowed to have my own opinion about how things should be handled. At least that's what I think. And that's kind of pretty much it. Just the whole situation was really messed up, and I'm really sad to see this happen to a creator that I actually ended up really liking as the years have progressed forward. I've been watching him for a good amount of time, and to see him just kind of turn out this way and kind of come off as having this fake persona, especially in his recent videos, as they're not really that much entertaining to watch anymore, it's just very disappointing to go ahead and see a creator that I actually really liked before and kind of turn into a shell of who he formerly was. It's disappointing, but what can you really do, I guess? People change, and change is good, but when a change ends up leading to you being entirely different than who you were before, and ends up being negative change instead of positive, you kind of have to question where they're really going in life. So that's kind of pretty much it. That's all I really have to say on the matter. I don't really want to talk about the situation any further unless something huge about the situation ends up coming up somehow in some way. I don't really know. It's not really for me to say right now at the moment. I just really wanted to go ahead and make a follow-up video from the old one from 3 years ago. That's really bad. Please don't watch it. It's really, really bad. And yeah, that's pretty much just all I have to say. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want more. I'll see you guys next one. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'm out. Peace.
They miss your older vids and stuff. The older videos have not gone anywhere. If you go to youtube.com/M3RKMUS1C, they're literally still on the channel. You can watch them anytime.
You're a liar! You're a liar!